Scottish football simply never fails to disappoint. After another year of madness on and off the field, let's reflect on the rollercoaster that was the 2022-23 Scottish Premiership season. We started the season with 5 club representatives in Europe for the very first time. Didn't quite go to plan at first, as Motherwell suffered a shock exit from the UEFA Europa Conference League first round qualifying round at the hands of Sligo Rovers. Manager Graham Alexander was subsequently sacked just 2 games into the season.
And we didn't just have that final bit of quality in the box to equalise and then go on, but we certainly created enough chances. We had enough possession, we moved the ball well enough. But when you're in a tie like this, sometimes a one-goal lead is difficult to turn around in a single game.
Dundee United were next to experience European disappointment. After an extraordinary first leg victory over Dutch giants AZ Alkmaar in the third qualifying round, Jack Ross's side were turned over 7-0 in the away leg. Hearts couldn't get past FC Zurich in the Europa League playoff qualifying round, but still qualified for the group stages of the UEFA Europa Conference League, bringing group stage European football to Tynecastle for the first time in 18 years. Rangers then qualified for the group stages of the UEFA Champions League after 12 years out with a 3-2 aggregate victory over PSV.
It comes really close to be the best moment, because you know where the club comes from. In 10 years ago we were at the lowest point we have in history, and it took us really hard work, everyone involved, from building the club back again to the level we achieve now. So it's a proud moment for me.
Celtic kicked off league football on Flag Day with a 2-0 win over Aberdeen. They started the season in style and went on to defeat Dundee United 9-0, the worst ever league defeat and the final nail in the coffin for manager Jack Ross, who was sacked after just 7 games in charge.
Well, I think in terms of me describing it, it's humiliating and embarrassing. I think in different ways for me, first and foremost personally and professionally, because I think the pride you have in doing your job properly. I think for players, they should feel the same way. I think for us as a club, we should never be beat by that scoreline at any level of football. So for fan base, football club, I know they'll feel the same way, and that responsibility ultimately always falls upon my shoulders.
The champions then took care of rivals Rangers with a resounding 4-0 victory in the first Old Firm derby fixture of the season in September. On the international stage, Scotland were flying. Wins against Ukraine and Ireland at home before an important 0-0 draw away to Ukraine secured promotion to UEFA Nations League A. Group stage European football didn't quite live up to the expectations though for our Scottish representatives. Hearts, Rangers and Celtic failed to make it out of the groups. Hearts won their 2 matches against Riga, but 6 points was just not enough to progress. Celtic and Rangers both went winless in their Champions League group campaigns, with Rangers officially becoming the worst team in Champions League history, finishing bottom of the group on 0 points.
We've got what we deserved. It's not like I've walked away thinking we could have got more. Yes, we could have, but we didn't, because we fell short in key areas. And key areas at this level of football is, like I said, you saw tonight, when the opportunities are there, you have to take them.
We can be very strong, as we showed today, but when we are not there mentally, then our levels drop really, really quick, and we also perform, way less than we should do.
In October 2022, VAR arrived, making its debut at Easter Road as St Johnstone visited Hibs on a Friday night. And it's fair to say the technology hasn't been short of criticism from our managers.
So where was VAR? Look, what's the point of us speaking? Because none of us know, do we? No, we don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. So, no, not to do that either, are we? No, I'm being serious. We're not having a conversation here, and does any of us know?
Stephen Robinson's St Mirren continued their remarkable home form, becoming the first club to defeat Celtic all season with a 2-0 win in September, and then snatching a 1-1 draw against Rangers, which ultimately led to the sacking of manager Giovanni van Bronckhorst. The season featured an unprecedented mid-season World Cup break, with league fixtures on hold for 5 weeks. A number of players from across the league represented their nations, with Lionel Messi ultimately guiding Argentina to World Cup glory. When league football returned, there was a new man at the helm at Ibrox. Former first-team coach Michael Beale had returned to Rangers with hopes of overturning a 9-point gap.
We need to win 56 as soon as possible. We need to improve our cup record. which obviously we slightly improved last year by winning the Scottish Cup, and we need to improve the identity on the pitch. That's what I feel. That's what the group of players feel as well. And I think at the moment, one or two players' value is probably not the reality of what it was 6 or 8 months ago. That's damaging to the players, the football club and to the staff, so we have to improve that.
After going unbeaten in his first 14 matches in charge, Beale tasted defeat for the first time as Rangers boss, with Ange Postecoglou's side winning the first trophy of the season with a 2-1 victory in the League Cup final at Hampden.
It's not about me personally, how I feel. Like I said, that's the expectations when you're at this football club. That I'm doing interviews with Gordon Strachan, mate. You know how hard it is following guys like that, and Martin and Brendan and Neil Lennon, and this club is steeped in success. So when you take the job, you know that's your responsibility.
Meanwhile, the Wheels were coming off at Aberdeen. They were the victims of one of the biggest Scottish Cup shocks of all time when 6th-tier Darvel knocked them out at the 4th round just days after losing 5-0 to Hearts. Jim Goodwin's side were then hammered 6-0 by a struggling Hibs, meaning they had won just one of their last 10 matches. As a result, Jim Goodwin was sacked at full-time at Easter Road, prompting chairman Dave Cormack to address the press instead, before appointing Barry Robson as interim boss.
Embarrassed, humiliated, just shell-shocked at the last week are the words I have. That's how our fans feel. I feel for them, and I apologise to them.
That wasn't the only drama from the Scottish Cup that week. Malik Tillman unknowingly tackled Partick Thistle's Kevin Holt in the process of him returning the ball to the Rangers after the midfielder had gone down injured. Tillman then rounded the goalkeeper and tapped the ball into the back of an empty net, much to the anger of the Partick Thistle players. Manager Michael Beale then ordered Rangers to allow Scott Tiffany to run directly from kick-off and score an unopposed goal to cancel out Tillman's mistake.
I tell you why it was the right thing to do, Mark, because Malik Tillman is a fantastic young player, and I don't want that hanging around his head. He's never cheated anyone in his life, and as a football club we've got high standards. We don't need to do that to be Partick Thistle at home, and it was a complete misunderstanding. It was not in fitting with the game, the way it was played, or the way it was played after. I thought afterwards the players all managed to play the game well.
The lunacy continued when Queen's Park met Inverness Caledonian Thistle in the 4th round. Queen's Park won the game, but were subsequently punished for fielding an ineligible player. Inverness then took their place in the next round and even made it all the way to the final, becoming the first team to ever reach a Scottish Cup final, despite having already lost in the competition. Goodwin was not the only managerial casualty of late winter, as Stephen Hamill's Scottish Cup exit to Raith Rovers saw him sacked and replaced by Stuart Kettlewell, who became the Steelmen's 3rd manager of the season. Dundee United continued the trend, cutting ties with Liam Fox in February and appointing the recently sacked Jim Goodwin as their 3rd permanent manager of the season. The national team got off to a dream start to their European Championship qualifiers with back-to-back wins at Hampden over Cyprus and international giant Spain in March. But domestically, managers were dropping like flies. Robbie Neilson was shown the door at Hearts as they gave up a 13-point lead over Aberdeen to relinquish the crucial 3rd place Europa League spot. St Johnstone's legendary double-winning manager Callum Davidson was then sacked a week later as St Johnstone flirted with relegation. Both clubs finished the season with interim managers Stephen Naismith and Stevie McLean in charge. Aberdeen's incredible run of 7 wins in a row launched them into 3rd spot, and interim manager Barry Robson was rewarded with a permanent deal. Robson then sealed 3rd spot with a 3-0 win over St Mirren, bringing European group stage football back to Pittodrie for the first time in 15 years.
I think the most important thing is how proud we are of the players. They were outstanding out there tonight again. You actually see the pleasing part for myself and Steve and Foxy is when they want to be that aggressive and quick and good in the counter press and really try to get after teams and be really aggressive, we actually forget the ball sometimes.
Celtic then marched towards the title, extending their lead over Rangers at the top to 12 points with a 3-2 win in front of 60,000 Celtic fans at Celtic Park. They then defeated Rangers again in the Scottish Cup semi-final to set up a final against Inverness Caledonian Thistle in June. Celtic were officially crowned Premiership champions against Hearts at Tynecastle with 4 games to spare, ending the season 7 points clear of their city rivals and making it 2 league titles out of 2 for manager Ange Postecoglou. They received the trophy on the final day of the season with a resounding 5-0 win over Aberdeen.
It makes me immensely proud that the group embraced that, because again, it would have been very easy after winning it last year, and me throwing some words out there that we're going to be stronger and better and bigger and all those kind of things. But I purposely did that to throw out a challenge to the lads that, we've got to be a better team. I thought we needed to be a better team this year if we were going to defend our title.
Motherwell's Kevin Van Veen joins Celtic's trio of Rio Hatate, Callum McGregor and Kyogo Furuhashi in the nominations for PFA Scotland Player of the Year. Kyogo claimed the top prize on the night to add to his league's top goal scorer award. Rangers' Malik Tillman was named Young Player of the Year, with treble-winning manager Ange Postecoglou picking up Manager of the Year. Dundee were promoted to the Scottish Championship after beating Queen's Park 5-3 in a title decider on the last game of the season. On the final weekend of the season, Hearts earned a draw against Hibs at Tynecastle to secure 4th spot and guarantee European football for the summer. But the Edinburgh derby was marred by a post-match touchline bust-up in which both managers were involved. Kilmarnock then defeated Ross County 3-1 on the final day to secure Scottish Premiership football for next season, as the Staggies then dropped into the playoffs. Jim Goodwin's Dundee United were relegated after finishing bottom of the league in a season where they had gone through 3 permanent managers. Celtic clinched the treble after beating Inverness Caledonian Thistle 3-1 at Hampden in the Scottish Cup final. The Hoops broke the world record for the most number of domestic trebles. Ross County avoided relegation with a historical comeback from 3-0 down in their second leg relegation playoff tie with Partick Thistle. The Jags beat them 2-0 at Firhill in the first leg before going 3 ahead in Dingwall, but somehow Malky Mackay's side hit back with 3 in the second half to level the tie and eventually win on penalties to renew their Scottish Premiership status for season 2023-24.